What do we do now?
Shall I do my war poem?
How hurt would you be if I gave the honest answer, which is, no, I'd rather French kiss a skunk?
So would I, sir.
Blackadder is a British comedy series from the 1980s written by Richard Curtis, Ben Elton and initially Rowan Atkinson. The series revolves around the selfish and cynical protagonist Edmund Blackadder, who is played by Rowan Atkinson. The series shows Blackadder as he travels through British history alongside his sidekick, Baldric, who is portrayed as a loyal but not very intelligent acquaintance.
Adding. If I have 2 beans, and then I add 2 more beans, what do I have?
Some beans.
Even though the series ended in 1989, the fan base is still strong, which is evident by the Blackadder fan wiki, which has a total of 442 pages and is entirely fan-made, as well as multiple theatre reenactments. I will be talking about both the history and the fandom of the franchise, and I will also be interviewing some friends of mine so that they can give their viewpoints on Blackadder.
Alright, fire away, Baldric.
However, without further ado, my name is Felix Drummond, and this is the history and fandom of Blackadder. Blackadder first aired on the 15th of June 1983 with the first episode entitled The Foretelling. This episode was the first of 6 episodes which made up the first season of Blackadder, which was set during the Wars of the Roses in the Middle Ages in an alternate timeline where Richard III won the Wars of the Roses. This first season introduced us to Edmund Blackadder, but in this first season he is referred to as Edmund the Blackadder and is portrayed as a naive English prince and the least favourite son of the new king, Richard IV. This first season also introduced us to Baldric, who is portrayed as more cunning than his master Blackadder.
Precisely. Or, as I shall be known from now on, the Black Vegetable.
This first series was written by 2 young writers, Rowan Atkinson, who was also Blackadder's actor, and Richard Curtis.
They said that because it was the first series, they weren't sure what Blackadder was supposed to be about, so it was going to be less funny. But like in the second, third, and fourth series, you gain more expertise and experience with them how fun it should be.
However, this first series was not particularly successful, and audiences thought it was uneven and not consistently funny, and it was also expensive to produce. As a result, the series was almost cancelled, but after a chance meeting between Richard Curtis and Ben Elton occurred, Elton was brought in to write the Blackadder series with Richard Curtis. Despite the failure of the first series, Curtis and Elton still saw potential in the concept of the series. Richard Curtis and Ben Elton would be solely responsible for writing the next 3 Blackadder series. The first episode of Blackadder II aired on the 9th of January 1986. This second season was set during the Elizabethan era and sees Blackadder now being portrayed as a royal court official who is attempting to win the favour of the childish Queen Elizabeth I, who is played by Miranda Richardson.
Talk of wedding bells.
No, I'm completely bored with explorers, and if you haven't brought me any presents, I'm going to have you executed. I only let Riley off because he blubbed on his...
This season was a lot more successful than the first season and is considered the point where the series discovered itself.
I really love season 2, partly because I learnt it so well, or I knew it so well when I was little, and I found it so funny. So I now have that kind of nostalgic connection to it.
On the 17th of September 1987, Blackadder III first aired. This season is set in the early 19th century, with Blackadder being portrayed as a royal servant to the foolish and easily manipulated Prince Regent, who is played by Hugh Laurie.
They're going to bankrupt you.
They can't do that. Why, the public love me. Only the other day I was out in the street and they sang, "We hail Prince George! We hail Prince George!"
We hate Prince George. We hate Prince George. Is it? I fear so, sir. However, all is not lost.
This season was very successful as it was awarded the first of the series' 2 BAFTA awards for the Best Comedy Series in 1988.
I really love season 3, and I was thinking about all the literary references and how funny it is, and actually I think I remember more of the jokes now from season 3.
On the 28th of September 1989, Blackadder Goes Forth aired. This 4th season portrays Blackadder as a captain in the British Army during the First World War and shows him trying his hardest to get out to the front lines whilst under the command of the pompous and naive General Melchett, who is played by Stephen Fry.
Coming out of our trenches and walking very slowly towards the enemy, sir.
How could you possibly know that, Blackadder? It's classified information.
It's the same plan that we used last time, and the 17 times before that.
Exactly! And that is what is so brilliant about it. It will catch the watchful Hun totally off guard. Doing precisely what we've done 18 times before is exactly the last thing they'll expect us to do this time.
However, Blackadder is unsuccessful, as in the final episode of Blackadder, which aired on the 2nd of November 1989, in the last scene, Blackadder and the rest of the cast go over the top onto the front lines, where we are afterwards left to assume their fate. This last series is arguably the most famous of the Blackadder series and is also the highest rated on both the IMDb and on Rotten Tomatoes. It also won the series its 2nd BAFTA.
Favourite series is Blackadder Goes Forth. Marginally over the Regency one, the 3rd.
Season 4 is very funny, but also is the most poignant.
Blackadder did have a few specials, including Blackadder's Christmas Carol, which was released in 1988, and Blackadder Back and Forth, which released in 1999. However, neither of these were as successful as the original series. Despite the fact that the series ended nearly 4 decades ago, the Blackadder fan base is still strong. I have already mentioned that there have been multiple theatre reenactments of the Blackadder series, as well as the Blackadder fan wiki, but the cast also occasionally go to fan conventions such as Comic-Con, where they may interact with fans and sign autographs. There is also Blackadder merchandise such as t-shirts, mugs, socks, etc.
I think, sadly not. When I think of, sort of younger generation, a lot of them won't have heard of it.
In a word, yes, but I suspect it's diminished from its peak.
The fandom may not be as big as, say, the Harry Potter or Star Wars fandoms, but the fan base is still there. There have been a few controversies within the Blackadder series, including a case in 2014 when Blackadder's actor Tony Robertson and Education Secretary Michael Gove got into a debate about whether Blackadder Goes Forth is a good historical tool to use in schools, where Gove said that the series was promoting myths about World War I. In conclusion, I believe the series is really funny and entertaining. However, I do not think it is greatly historically accurate, especially in the earlier seasons. And I believe that although the fan base for Blackadder is quite small, especially with those in the younger generation, I do believe it has the opportunity to grow due to it continuing to be shown in schools, as well as parents showing it to their children. Anyway, that will be it for this documentary. I hope you all enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
Well, it started badly, and it tailed off a little in the middle, and the less said about the end, the better. But apart from that, excellent.